This is Chase Gore.
This is Chris Gore.
This is the Andrews Mustangs Slot Team Mafia Show, episode 15. Brought to you, the studio's brought to you by Daniel Montoya with Monument Realty. Our backdrops brought to you by Nix and Nax. We are not affiliated with Andrews Independent School District or Andrews High School. In tonight's episode, we're going to go over, we're going to cover the Big Spring recap. We're going to look ahead to the El Paso Austin Golden Panther matchup that's going to be in Artesia, New Mexico. We're also going to go over our results for our pick'ems over the season, and we're also going to go over just some notable playoff matchups in 4A Region 1, Division 1. So, and we have some very special guests in studio that we'll get to in just a little bit. Chris, let's go ahead and talk about the Andrews Mustangs against Big Spring here, the season finale at home. What did you say?
Well, you know, like we talked about during our live stream, I mean, it was a dominating performance by the Mustangs. Offensive line pretty much dominated from the get-go. The backs ran hard. Line opened up a lot of big holes. Jay Sean DeBose had over 300 yards rushing. Sais, Mullins, quarterback, Olivas, everybody had lanes to run through. The defense, first quarter and a half, took them a little bit to figure out what Big Spring was doing, but once they made some adjustments, they pretty much shut them down. It was special teams, a good special teams games. All three phases, the Mustangs dominated, and it was a great way to close out the year, clinch that third spot, and get, last home win for the seniors.
Well, we're going to go into the stats of the game. So Andrews ran a total of 63 plays. Big Spring ran a total of 69 plays. Passing yards, Andrews finished the game with 12 passing yards. Big Spring with 203. Rushing yards, Andrews had 469 rushing yards in the game. Big Spring had 170. Turnovers, the last couple of weeks has been very good. We've been seeing a big difference. Andrews had the one turnover early. Big Spring had 3 fumbles and 1 interception. On the penalty end, Andrews was low again, 3 penalties for 12 yards. Big Spring was 5 for 71. Going to the stats section, quarterback Olivas was 2 for 5 for 12 yards. And then receiving for the Mustangs, Cole Iverson was 1 for 18. Rushing, Jay Sean DeBose had 20 carries for 337, 6 TDs. 305 of those yards were in the first half. Mr. Jeremiah Mullins had 12 carries for 59. Merck Size had 12 carries for 49 yards and a touchdown. And Mr. Olivas had 6 carries for 24 yards in the game. On the defensive end, just some notables here, and then we'll go to our shout-out section. Ranger Harvey, he was kind of a menace on the defensive line all night. I think he had 5 tackles. Juan Hernandez had 2 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and I believe 2 fumble recoveries. I think he might have got both of them. I'm not really sure. Alan Chavez had a big fumble recovery, and Brady Kelly had a nice pick on the sideline where the ball was kind of thrown up and it was floated, and he actually spun around and just made a very athletic play, very difficult pass to intercept. Shout-out section, we're going to go on the offensive side of the ball. We're going to the offensive line. Braden Williams, Carter Lee, Tyson Valenzuela, Tate Gore, Juju Azam, and Evan Bustamante.
Big game by the line. Good job.
Dominant performance. And as we could see, after about the halfway mark of the year, now towards the end, you can really see things are starting to trains. It's starting to leave the station. You can tell everybody's bought in. They're in great shape.
Crisp.
The system is crisp. On the defensive side of the ball, could have been so many. I'm just going to name some people off. We're doing the live stream top of the stadium. Ranger Harvey, Diego Peregrino, Juan Hernandez, Damon Ordonez, Raider Harvey, Brady Kelly, Adolfo Valles are just some of the names that kind of stood out to us. And we just kind of wanted to give that shout out there. And on the special teams end, Dalen Jeffcoats, he had a 73-yard punt that pinned Big Spring back, flipped the field, and then I think it was 1 or 2 plays later we ended up getting that fumble. So that the very big. I think he ended up with he averaged I think 53 or 54 yards. He had 2 punts on the night, but averaged like 54 yards.
Yeah, he's been punting well all year long,
and got a nice leg and very good there. and it's always nice. Like the last show, we come in, and it's always nice. The seniors get to end the year getting to whoop on Big Spring.
Yeah.
And there's no better feeling in the world. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of
Move
that one.
on. Yeah.
We're
Big
moving
win,
on.
Let's move on.
So this Thursday, first round of the playoffs, Andrews is traveling to Artesia, New Mexico. They're going to get to play El Paso, Austin Golden Panthers. It's going to be at the legendary, iconic Bulldog Stadium in Artesia. For those of y'all that don't know, New Mexico football is not like Texas football, but Artesia is the Permian of New Mexico. I'm going to say 30 or 40 state championships. They're always competing. For New Mexico, they
good
which
job.
I've played it. I've played in the stadium. I played against Artesia, and for New Mexico football,
About as good as it
Artesia is
gets.
the gold standard. So it's going to be exciting to get to go down there. So El Paso, Austin Golden Panthers, they returned 4-4 starters from last year,
Played them last year.
and we played them last year in the playoffs. Their record is 5-5. They're 3-1 in district. Notable teams that we know that we're kind of familiar with in this area. They lost to Fort Stockton 21-13,
Season opener, wasn't it?
season opener,
Yep.
and then mid-season they lost to Dumas 27-7. Now, for them, their O-line is the biggest strength. They go about 260, 220, 290, 250, 270 across the board.
Big dudes.
That's going to be their strength. They're going to run the football. Every now and then they'll take a shot down the field. They run a variation of the wing tee with the wide receiver to each side split out, and every now and then, if you get man to man, they're just going to chunk it up down the field and see what they can do. Now, I was looking on some different sites, and one site had their running back as a Bustillos, and then another site had their running back as Marufo, but they both had the same stats. So, and their running back is averaging 99 yards per game. Their quarterback is Anakin. I like the name.
Yeah.
Anakin Torres. He averaging 112 passing yards per
Parents
game.
are Star Wars fans.
Apparently. And so if you compare the two teams, Andrews rushing yards is averaging, we average for the season 394 rushing yards per game. Austin's averaging 236 per game. Passing yards per game, Andrews averages 21, Austin 114. And then points per game, Andrews' offense is averaging 32 points per game for the season, and Austin is averaging 17. Chris, what do you see in this matchup?
Well, like you said, we really don't know them too. I mean, we know them from playing them last year, but of course, year to year, you have different teams. They matched up with Fort Stockton the first game of the year. Fort Stockton beat them by a touchdown. I think Fort Stockton, we got to kind of have an idea of what they're about. They're 9-1, but outside of Monahan's, the game they lost, they really haven't played anybody. Dumas was down this year, but probably comparable to us. Beat them by 3 touchdowns probably 3-4 weeks ago. Last year we jumped up on them early, but they kind of hung around. I think we beat them 35-14, something like that. So, Austin 2 years ago was a drop down from 5A. They've got some big kids. They're going to run the ball. We remember that little wing tee deal they ran last year, and they had some big kids. I think just like any other game, the last couple weeks, it's going to be important. The Mustangs come out, don't turn the ball over. You can't have false starts and all that stuff. I think if we could get out to a two or three touchdown lead in the first half, they might cash in their chips. I think that's kind of the key, is to start fast and get them down early. And like last week, I think it's a really good matchup for the Mustangs. One thing we do know, they're not real quick. They're not real fast. I think it might take them a quarter or two to adjust to our speed and quickness. So if we can get up 2 or 3 touchdowns early, I think that'll set the tone for the rest of the game.
And score prediction.
I'm going to say Andrews 48, Austin 12.
All right, and I'm going to go Andrews 56-14 is what I got. And so we're going to go ahead and move on. That'll be this Thursday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time in Artesia, New Mexico. Everybody can make it. If you can't, me and my co-host Chris Gore, we're going to be live streaming the game.
Yes, sir.
In Artesia. We're going to be there about 5 o'clock in the parking lot. We're going to be cooking up burgers and dogs with the Fishers. Oh, yeah, big shout out. And so hope everybody can make it. If you can't, we'll be live streaming. We're going to move on. All right, this next section, our pick'ems for the season. Last week was the finale. We both actually finished tied, 44 wins, 21 losses. And we had our tiebreaker was the Big Spring game. And my co-host had picked 49-16. I picked 55-21. So I ended up winning on the tiebreaker, but it ended up being a tie for the season. So
Pretty good race this year.
And that was actually a pretty good record that we had, not too shabby. So it was a lot of fun. Now this next section we're going to go into is notable playoff matchups in 4A, in Region 1, Division 1. Springtown versus Hereford.
Yeah, that's they've played 2 or 3 times over the last 5 or 6 years since they've redid this. Back in 2018, this region 4A Division 1. Hereford's really surprised some teams this year. Surprised me. I think they were 1-9 last year. Springtown is 7-3. Lost to Decatur, I think last week was it 2 weeks ago, 23-17. Hereford's had a good year, but I'm going to say Springtown's going to beat them by 4 touchdowns.
All right. Yep. I got Springtown by 14. Canyon at Wichita Falls.
Did Wichita Falls get that last playoff spot?
It's Canyon versus Wichita Falls.
Wichita Falls is they're not. I think they're 1-9 or 2-8. Canyon by 35.
All right. I got Canyon by 14, and then I got Decatur versus Dumas.
So we get the winner of Decatur and Dumas. Dumas a little bit down this year. I think they finished 4-6. They were the 4th place team in that district. Decatur's got the Palmer kid, who's a Division I player. We saw them last year. We know how explosive they are, how good they are. I'm going to say I would love to see Dumas upset them. It would be nice to play Dumas and Lubbock or Plainview next week, but I'm going to say Decatur by 21.
And I got Decatur by 20. El Paso, Riverside, and Big Spring.
You know, Big Spring was the 4th place team last year. Riverside's that district champion, and Big Spring beat them. I think Big Spring's beat them.
Hail Mary.
Yeah, last play of the game. Of course, haven't seen Riverside. I don't think they played anybody out here this year. Big Springs has a couple of good players. They've got a couple of good skill players. That's tough. I'll tell you what. I'm going to throw a bone to the Steers and say Big Spring by 7.
Well, and you know me, I can't go with the Steers. I got to go with Riverside. I got Riverside returning the favor and winning in a close game, maybe an overtime game by 1 point. I'll go with that.
What happens?
So see if they can return the favor. All right, folks. So in this next section, we're going to have live Andrews Mustangs in the studio. We'll be right back. All right, we're back here live in studio, and we got some Andrews Mustangs that are here in the studio, and I'm going to go ahead and let them start and introduce themselves.
My name is Jayshawn Nabose. I play two-back, and my number's 38.
My name is Zachary Cabrera. I'm number 13. I play middle linebacker.
My name is Jeremiah Mullen. I play running back, and I'm number 25.
My name is Brady Kelly. I'm number 45, and I play outside linebacker.
All right, so we're going to go ahead. I'm going to start the interview. It's kind of this is a special interview tonight. So we got Mr. Mullins and Mr. Kelly down here on the end, and both of them are originally from Artesia, New Mexico. And I think Mr. Kelly, how long have you lived over here in Andrews?
I've lived in Andrews for 3.5 years now.
3.5 years. And Mr. Mullins, you're kind of brand new to Andrews, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
This year. So you guys are going to get to go home and play. I'm talking about the place where you're from. You got family there, don't you guys? And y'all are going to get to go home and play in front of a bunch of family, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
So Brady Kelly, I'm going to go ahead and ask you first. How does it feel to get to go home to the legendary Bulldog Stadium and get to play?
It's. I've been wanting to do this since I found out that you meet in the middle in Texas, because in New Mexico they just pick a stadium and that's where you go instead of meeting in the middle. So once I found out that I'm going back to my hometown that I've lived in for 14 years, and my brothers got to play there, and I only got to play one game there, it means a whole lot that I get to go there and see my friends and family and play in front of them and hopefully get a win against El Paso Austin.
All right. And Mr. Mullins, I'm going to go ahead and ask you the same question. How does it feel to get to go to Artesia and play in Bulldog Stadium? How's that feel?
Yes, sir. I mean, it feels good to play in front of family and friends again. I'll get to see my friends I just moved away from, and I'll get to see me play this time around here in Artesia.
One of the things I'm excited for is Artesia is going to get to see some West Texas slot T Mafia. They're going to get to see a slot T offense. You don't see that in New Mexico, not run like this. And so I think Artesia is a very good football town. You're going to have a lot of people from Artesia that are football fans, and they're gonna be curious, like, hey, what is this all about? And you guys, all of y'all get to go put on a show for New Mexico and show them, and they're gonna walk away with they're gonna have to pick their jaws up off the ground. I guarantee you.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we're gonna move on to Mr. Zach Cabrera, plays inside linebacker for the Mustangs, and I want you to tell me, Mr. Cabrera, the biggest difference from playing last year and then moving up to the varsity level now this year. What's the biggest difference that you've seen?
For me, I'd have to say it's like, I guess what everyone else has to say is the speed, but also like, I mean, being a shorter linebacker is not really something you see, but I guess just the size difference. Last year is just like everyone was really just my height, and I was just hanging in there as normal, but
Trying to see the play
Yeah,
develop and things
yeah.
like that.
But yeah, it's just been like a lot harder, I guess.
So one thing I wanted to ask you, Mr. Cabrera, I know y'all been doing defensive game plan this week for El Paso, Austin. Y'all are preparing for a power running team. Not to give away the game plan, but kind of give me a little insight of what you guys are going to try to do this Thursday to try to stop El Paso.
Against a team that's a lot like ours that runs a lot, the main thing we want to do is just stop the running. And for that, what we're going to have to do is just pack the box. And then every once in a while, they're going to throw up a pass and just hope that our corners can help us out with that. But, yeah, really just pack that box to stop that running.
All right. And are you up for the challenge? You guys ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. That's what I like to hear. We're going to move on to here in the studio. We got Mr. Jayshawn Dubose, one of the running backs for the Andrews Mustangs, and glad to have you on the show, sir.
Yes, sir.
And so, Mr. DeBose, this past Friday night against Big Spring, he had 305 yards at the break at halftime. Now, the single rushing record in a game in Andrews history is 448 by Shad Williams. And but it's one of those games that he had a shot to get that, but I'm pretty sure, at halftime with the commanding lead, the way things were going, you don't want to get someone hurt trying to chase a record. It's one of those, if the game would have been close back and forth and it's a close ball game, then more than likely he probably would have broke that one. Now Mr. DeBose is about 100, not official, but around 115 yards shy of surpassing Shad Williams' single season rushing yards in a season. And I believe he had 27 touchdowns. I think, Jayshawn, I think you're sitting at 22. So with hopefully 2 games left to play and maybe even more. So kind of tell me about that game. Was there anything different? Kind of give us a little insight on this past game this past Friday night.
Well, at the beginning of the game, we started off good. Then my first play, I fumbled, and it really shook me a little bit. But my teammates reminded me to keep my head up and to keep playing. And then after that, it just went off from there.
I'll tell you what, it was a great performance, and we were live streaming it, and I mean, some of those runs, there's dudes getting double teamed 10 yards down the field. There's dudes getting pancaked, and there was a couple of, I didn't even know what to say. I was just like, mercy. That's all I could say, because, I mean, those guys were just getting whooped up front. Very great performance from you guys last week. Big playoff game. It's win or go home. And it's do or die, or that's another word you could say. It's win, you go on, you lose, you go home. But I want to see you guys go down there and give maximum effort. It's a playoff game. You got to leave it all on the table to be successful to move on to the next week. Let's go down here Thursday to Artesia. Let's get us a win. Let's do what we got to do. And then next week, I want to be sitting here talking about how we're going to handle Decatur.
Yes, sir.
And I'm super proud of all you guys. And you guys get them going. We'll be there. We're going to get there early. I'm going to have my jersey on. Woo! And we're going to be live streaming the game and pass the word on. Anybody can go back at any time and watch the game if they want to. And is there any last words any of y'all want to say before the playoff game this Thursday? Nothing. Y'all ready to play?
Yes, sir.
Tired of talking, right? That's right. That's right. All right. Well, all right. So that's going to conclude our interviews, and we'll be right back with a wrap up. All right. That's going to conclude episode 15 of the Andrews Mustangs Slot Team Mafia show. I want to thank my co-host, Chris Gore.
Yes, sir.
And I want to thank all the Andrews Mustangs that have made this possible come live in the studio. I want to special thanks to Daniel Montoya with Monument Realty. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be able to do any of this stuff. Our backdrop is also brought to you by Nix and Nax, local business here in Andrews. Andrews this Thursday goes up, can't say it enough, to Artesia, New Mexico, Bulldog Stadium to play the El Paso Golden Panthers. It's a big playoff game. It means a lot. You win, you keep going. You lose, you go home. So we hope the Mustangs are up to the challenge. Me and my co-host Chris Gore are going to be live streaming the game. You can find it on our Facebook page, Andrews Mustang Slot Team Mafia Show. You can also find it on Michael Hudson's YouTube page, M&M Creations. And before the game that day, a couple of hours before the game, I'll send out the links to make sure everybody that can't make the game will be able to watch it. And always remember, folks, it's a great day to be a Mustang.